Hi everyone, and welcome back. I'm Catherine, and this is part 3 of me doing the clan generator challenge. Today we're starting on our second clan, StreamClan. This one is probably a little bit more politically complicated than the other ones I'm going to be doing. They just have a little bit more drama, they're kind of more isolated, so I'm going to spend a bit of time just to talk about the geography and what's been going on with StreamClan before we dive into the characters. StreamClan's territory is across the river from MeadowClan's territory and below FurClan's territory. FurClan is on sort of like a cliffy area, and then there's like waterfalls that fall off the cliffs, and those make a ton of little streams that go out into a lake. And it's between all those streams that StreamClan lives. So it's a very treacherous and difficult to navigate territory. And at the edge of their territory, sort of sandwiched inside this little cavern in the cliffs, is the the StarClan portal. So StreamClan is the closest to StarClan, and they're the most isolated from their neighbors because the borders are so tough to cross. Because they're so isolated, the other clans haven't necessarily noticed that StreamClan has a lot of issues. For the past couple generations, they've been a clan that's sort of dominated by one family. I kind of wanted to explore the idea of nepotism within Warrior Cats. We get a little bit of a glimpse of that in the first arc, when Firestar is kind of wondering, who's gonna be my deputy? And he kind of thinks, maybe it should be Greystripe because he's my best friend. But then he thinks that maybe that's not such a good idea, maybe there's some bias involved there. And then we never hear about that again. And now we sort of have a situation in ThunderClan, right, where one family is in charge of all of the major decisions happening within the clan. And that doesn't seem to be framed as a bad thing. And from my point of view, I would think it's kind of a bad thing. So I wanted to see what a clan would be like with a little bit more obvious corruption within the leadership of the clan. So you'll see here in StreamClan, the medicine cat and the previous leader were sort of working together to benefit themselves rather than benefit the whole clan. Where we are currently with this clan is just a couple months after the previous leader passed away very unexpectedly, and he left his very young nephew to take over as leader of the clan, which is actually a perfect segue to start talking about Squirrelstar. Squirrelstar is the youngest of the 4 leaders that I have planned. He was made deputy as a junior warrior just a few months before the previous leader, his uncle, passed away. A lot of cats were upset about the clear nepotism that was involved, and it was really obvious, especially because he had never had an apprentice, which is one of the requirements for being made deputy. There were talks of a coup from those who wanted Shadowthroat as leader, but it cooled down a little after Squirrelstar made her his deputy, a very surprising choice, but also very clever. Next is the deputy, Shadowthroat. She loves her clan and has a lot of ideas about how to make life better for them. She is competent, driven, and skilled enough to make it happen. This led to a lot of conflict between her and the previous leader, who, of course, enforced the status quo in the clan. Because of their rivalry, she was never considered for deputy. Her work was rarely publicly acknowledged, and she never got assigned to desirable patrols. Despite all that, she keeps going and has a lot of support within StreamClan. She's also the mother of the 2 apprentices, Duskpaw and Goosepaw. Now for Rookleg. Rookleg is the medicine cat, but he believes that his clanmates should be encouraged to be self-sufficient. he does the bare minimum healing work in order to make time for the important things, communing with StreamClan. He's not very good at it though, and chooses to interpret signs in ways that serve him and his own interests. He should probably take on an apprentice, but all the work involved in mentoring doesn't appeal to him at all. His older brother is the elder Dovestripe, and he had 2 littermates, the previous leader and Squirrel Star's mom. Yeah, a lot of nepotism in this clan. Time to move on to the warriors. I'm starting off with Finchfur. She's close friends with Shadowthroat and has a younger brother named Tansycloud. Tansycloud unfortunately started to lose his vision and mobility at a young age, and Finchfur has become hyper-vigilant about his health. She could often be found advocating for him in Rookleg's den, and is obviously very frustrated about the lack of care that Rookleg provides. That's one of the reasons she supports Shadowthroat so strongly. I bent her description a bit by not making her hairless, so Finchfur is a lilac and cream, mackerel tortoiseshell with green eyes. I gave her a very thin, wiry look, sort of reminiscent of a hairless cat, and also to reinforce the idea that she and her family aren't treated very well in StreamClan. Our next cat is Beefoot. He is a pretty good warrior who's about the same age as Shadowthroat, but the constant praise from his parents, Rookleg, and the previous leader have led him to believe that he's destined for greatness. He was completely baffled when his cousin and former apprentice Squirrel Star picked Shadowthroat to be the next deputy over him. On top of that, Beefoot's mate Flamethroat has been nagging him constantly because she thinks that he is the father of Pinestone's kits as well as her kits. It's a whole mess that he doesn't really understand, and overall Beefoot's been in a sour mood lately. But he continues on with his warrior duties because he truly believes that he's the best and most capable warrior in StreamClan. Beefoot is described as a short-haired red classic pseudo-tabby with hazel eyes. I tried to put the darker parts on his tail to go with the bee imagery, and overall he's sort of like if Berrynose and Bumblestripe had a son, or were somehow combined in some way. Yeah, I think he turned out pretty good. He looks like his personality. Okay, now it's time for Shrivelface. Poor Shrivelface. She's been having a rough time. She's constantly sick with a runny nose that's definitely a respiratory infection. But every time she goes to Rookleg about it, he gives her some silly non-advice about how StreamClan will provide the answer if she's worthy enough. Unfortunately, it's hard to prove her worth when her sickness interferes with her duties, so now she has a reputation as a poor hunter and struggles to keep up with most patrols. Shrivelface is a sparse-haired white she-cat with hazel eyes. I think that if she were healthy, she'd probably be a really beautiful cat. That idea really makes me want to do something with the clan so I can explore and see how this all plays out. I think she could be a really interesting character. Our fourth warrior in StreamClan is Daisyleg. Her sisters are both queens right now, and it's honestly been really nice for her to have a little bit of space from them. They were all very rambunctious in their youth, but of the 3, Daisyleg has always been the quietest. She's often known to just start ignoring them whenever things get too ridiculous or dangerous. In her efforts to be drama-free, she's also turned a blind eye to their cruelty. Now that Daisyleg has an apprentice, Goosepaw, she's actively trying to be a better role model, and her opinions about clan politics have swayed in support of Shadowthroat's reforms. Daisy Leg is described as a red spotted tabby with short fur and green eyes. I had a lot of fun doing the pattern for her. She doesn't have too many spots, so it's not overly tabby-like, but I think she looks really pretty, and I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun when I get around to doing her sisters as well. The second last warrior in StreamClan is Swantail. She's very tiny and soft-spoken. Her father was a StreamClan warrior, but her mother was a kitty pet. No one is aware of that, so she has kitty pet siblings that she doesn't know about. The only one who's a bit suspicious is Softblaze, who was her foster mother. Swantail is pretty young. She's about the same age as Squirrelstar and Nightstorm, and she has a huge crush on Squirrelstar that makes her a bit reluctant to oppose his leadership. She's also very agreeable, so sometimes she finds herself nodding along with her clanmates who are fighting for change, so no one really knows what she thinks about politics. Swantail is a curly-haired white she-cat with blue eyes. I don't usually give my cats hair on their head, but when it feels right, and for Swantail it was definitely appropriate. She's so bashful that maybe she can use it to hide her face when she's feeling flustered. The final warrior in StreamClan is Nightstorm. What a cool name, right? So cool that I had to draw her twice. I was a fool and I decided to try to draw that same pose that I struggled so much with when I drew Ashpaw in the last video. And then I spent a couple days thinking about how much I didn't like it, so I ended up scrapping it and starting over. It was worth it though. I really liked how she turned out. So, Nightstorm has always been very opinionated and fierce. She's been pointing out all the injustices in the clan structure ever since she can remember. This often leads to arguments with her mother Softblaze, who doesn't care so much about inequity as long as her family can benefit from it. Nightstorm idolizes Shadowthroat, and is so proud to be mentoring her first ever apprentice, Duskpaw. Nightstorm is a short-haired white she-cat with a black and red classic calico tail and ears, and she has copper eyes. I was a little bit worried that she would end up looking too much like Sootpaw from MeadowClan, since they have very similar fur colors, and I wanted both of them to be a bit heavier. But luckily, I think Nightstorm's personality really shines through here, and I think Sootpaw's does as well in her drawing, so I don't think they'll get confused for each other. And that wraps up the Warriors of StreamClan. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I know I enjoyed making it. I'm sorry it did take a little bit longer than the last ones, but since StreamClan is a little bit more politically complicated, I had to sort of plan out who supports who and why they would do that and how that sort of works into their sort of family dynamics and friendships and stuff like that. So MeadowClan is just more simple, right? But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing part 2, and I hope you guys are looking forward to watching it. I'll see you soon. Bye.